Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. My guest this morning is Curtis Adigba, legal practitioner and commentator on public affairs. Thank you very much as
Thanks
always,
for having
Curtis,
me,
for
Yori.
coming on.
Thanks. Good
So
morning.
the big news, of course, is that the president arriving from Ethiopia yesterday didn't go home, so to speak, went straight to Borno. In fact, Maiduguri, the capital, no doubt to see things for himself and also to commiserate with the citizens of the state. He's reported all over the papers. He was there. There were some protests, which, were circulated on social media, no doubt against Boko Haram and all the troubles that they've had, and that is being interpreted in different ways. Some are saying that the president might have visited Auno, but he didn't. He chose not to. Your comments?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the insecurity situation that we have in the country is unfortunate, it's regrettable, but this is long in coming. This has been coming for years, and unfortunately, we do not have a system that can effectively combat insecurity because of our size and the fact that we are not willing to do heavy lifting in tackling the issues from the fundamental points. So it's been no talk and all that. But having said that, I think it's commendable that the president, who was away from the country for a number of days, deemed it fit that the first place he should go to is to visit Borno State, where killings are taking place. I mean, it shows the importance that he attaches to security and the lives of the people. Now, for those saying he ought to have gone to the village where the action took place and not Borno,
The capital.
again, it's a matter of perspective. It depends on how you want to see the cup. Is it half empty or half full? It's perspective. There's no human being that I know that would do something and everybody will praise him for what he has done. But what is important is that this president has shown responsibility. He has shown that indeed he's aware of what is going on and is troubled by it, and there's a need to visit the place and get first-hand, briefing about the situation. So I think
And that shows his concern.
yeah, I think
as
that
it were.
it shows that he's concerned about what is going on, and it's quite commendable.
But can you understand maybe the anguish of, there was this video that circulated that no doubt would have been showing the anguish of the people that these things continue. Even as the president was visiting, one paper is reporting that 21 were killed, 21 people were killed in Kaduna State. It's as if these guys have free reign. Now we don't even know, they're called bandits that operated in Kaduna. Boko Haram, is what caused their grief in Borno. But people are just looking at it as insecurity. Now, this has been a topic that's been on everybody's lips for a long time. Newspapers, radio, TV. There have been calls for service chiefs to be changed. People in desperation, not being professionals themselves, just say that, look, who's the head of this place? Who's the head of this whole operation? It must be the service chiefs. Can you change them? Not that that has gone down well with the president, from what I can gather. How does all of this sort of figure?
The fact that the president is visiting a state after some people were killed does not mean the bandits or the criminals will go on holiday. It may look, it's not a call to discontinue insecurity. The president visit to any place does not mean an end to banditry in that place or any other place. What it means is that all the leaders of this country at different levels should rise up and fight this common scourge called insecurity. Look, the reality is, we've said it here before, we are only micromanaging the situation. The security agents, the security architecture and infrastructure that we have today is grossly inadequate to deal with this situation. We have one police force, Nigeria Police Force. They have branches, I call it branches, at different state level. But the states in Nigeria are wide and big states. What is the personnel available to Inspector General of Police to manage and contain insurgency, insecurity in the country. And we said last time that total population of the Nigerian police is less than 400,000. And close to half of that are on duties, are certain duties that do not relate directly to the security of the communities. For every society to function well, the interaction between the three pillars, the government, the market, and the community, must work very well. Look at what we have in our country. You see the convoy of a state governor, that of a local government chairman, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, their spouses. You go to banks, you see the convoy of any chief executive of bank, of any bank. You see they all have enough policemen. But then you go to the community, which is the nucleus of the country, because you see, like Margaret Thatcher once argued, the concept of state and country are artificial concepts. Because when you pull communities together, they form what you call the state. So if a community is unwell, the entire concept of state or nation will be unwell. Because majority of the people live in the community, and it's from the community they move to the center to carry out the activities. So let's stop scratching this problem on the surface.
And that, I think, is the problem.
We need
the people thinking that we're not dealing with the problem as we might if we wanted to really focus on it and throw everything we have at it. You spoke about what resources are available to the police, for example. It's gotten so bad that the army is being called in for every act of criminality.
Yes.
You know,
whereas
it's the function of the police in the first instance.
Yes.
The police only comes in when, God forbid, the police is likely to be overwhelmed. But I said, God forbid, it is more the case than the exception locally here. So people are blaming government for not providing the wherewithal, I would guess, because we're not a poor country. They see that we spend money on things, but why not on this most important of things, our security?
I think the issue is beyond that. The issue is beyond the government not making sufficient funds available for policing. I think they make money available to them. What happens is we don't know how that money is used in fighting or providing security for the people. You know, you go to most of our, you have a problem today, and you go to any police station to report that you have a problem.
Yeah.
The first thing you'll be asked is, we have no paper to take your complaint.
Which is part of the problem.
Which is part of the problem. And then, even when investigation has been carried out, of course, you probably have to pay for certain investigation in this country. I can tell you my personal experience. At the time they decide that the matter should go to court, again, the complainant will have to facilitate the issue going to court. You go to many police stations today and you say there's armed robbery going somewhere. They say we don't have vehicle. And even when they have vehicle, we have no money to buy petrol or gas into the vehicle. And then you begin to ask yourself.
These are the very things that Nigerian is saying. Nigerians seem to be saying, no, we're better than this. I don't know, you might agree or not agree. We are better than this. We have resources to deal with it, but it is not being done, is the allegation. Now, as I said, and you probably also are alluding to, people don't really know what's going on in there because the president continues to reiterate how they're giving this their all and that they are not leaving any stone unturned. But they resent the seeming successes that these guys are making. How can the president be visiting, and you know the president is visiting, you now stage this show of hitting Kaduna in this way? It's like they have free reign. Let me come back to you because I want to just, in case anybody has missed it, I don't think very many would have, because every Nigerian is concerned about security. We have a package, a report that we put out yesterday. Here's that report.
Top security chiefs, ministers and members of the Borno State Executive Council lined up to receive the president at the 105 Composite Group tarmac. The president's aircraft landed at the air base at exactly 1:15 p.m. and was received by the Borno State governor and the members of the Borno State Executive Council. A guard of honor was mounted by the Nigerian Air Force troops stationed in Maiduguri to welcome President Buhari. The entourage moved to the palace of the Shehu of Borno, where he was received by the monarch and members of the Borno Emirate Council. It was an opportunity for the Shehu of Borno to mention the numerous security challenges confronting the state. He expressed appreciation for the president's visit.
The people of Borno are very grateful to Your Excellency. As we start your meeting, all along from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia to condole us.
The governor of Borno State, for his part, demanded more synergy between security agencies and also between security forces and the civil populace.
Your Excellency, sir, we are calling upon the Nigerian military to retrace their step and borrow a leap from the successes they have recorded in the year 2016 through 2017 with the beauty ending the insurgency by one, taking the war, the fight to the enclaves of the insurgents in the bridges of the Lake Chad.
The president asked for more cooperation in the areas of intelligence sharing to overcome most of the security challenges in the region and pledged his administration's commitment towards ending the insurgency.
I want you to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies and let us deny terrorist Boko Haram access to our loyal citizens that are still in the villages and encourage them to go back to the land. I have to come because I do not want to reach my base in Abuja without coming here and showing my respect for you.
The president signed the visitor's book and moved on to the government house for more consultations with the governor and his top aides. Observers are of the opinion that the visit of President Buhari will rekindle the determination of the security forces to bring an end to years of insurgency in Borno State.
Okay, so that's the report. That's not the first time it went out. You saw it on our news first yesterday. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. There are those who say that they didn't see a certain kind of urgency, you know, given what had taken place, the ceremonials, as opposed to you have to do all of that. But given how the people of Borno were feeling, how they were fearful, you know, the anxiety must be very, very high on their mind. I don't know. People who arranged the visit, there's a non-verbal communication aspect to these things. I don't know how much attention was paid to that because people are saying that the president didn't visit or know where the action happened and all of that. Is it fair or unfair comment?
Well, you know, presidential movement don't just happen. It's not Curtis Adigba visiting TVC. I just walk in. I don't need escort. I don't need anybody. Don't forget that this was something that was not on the card.
It was, yeah. These things usually are pre-planned.
Yes, but this visit to Borno was not on the card. It happened. It wasn't planned. The terrorist attack on the people was not planned by the government, so it happened, and the president had to visit. His visit should have calming effect on the people, sort of saying, look, I feel what you feel. I'm touched by your plight. I am here to show that we've got your back and all that. And that's the purpose of that visit. People, like I said, we always say something. Look, he did this. Why didn't he do this? Ultimately, we see things the way we are, not as things are. So people will always have their position on issue. But what is important is that the people who are the epicenter of the insecurity are not interested in all these interpretations of what the president did not do or what he has done well. What they want is they want their lives and property to be secured.
Indeed.
And that's what the government should That's what should concern all of us.
And the president, not that he was in the business of throwing things back, but he did bring up that, you know, one of the papers, I have the Vanguard in front of me here, highlights it in some of the bullet points following the lead headline. The president reportedly says, Boko Haram cannot come without the knowledge of locals. In another headline, I see that he even held traditional rulers, you know, responsible. Yeah. In other words, is the citizenry helping as much as it could, given that people are saying the government is not doing all that they imagine it can, the citizenry too?
Well, the truth of the matter is not all Boko Haram fighters are foreigners. You have local people who are top commanders, who are information providers, who live within the community. They are known. But here's the problem. In the past, we have been told of how the local people provided information to the military, and then the next day they end up killed. And so that trust has to be won. Now, you remember there was a time when the US was fighting in Iraq, and there were big cities in Iraq that they couldn't go to until General McChrystal came, Henry McMaster came up with this plan that this insurgency can only be won when we win the hearts and the mind of the people, and then we give them the confidence that we have their back. And so they injected troops in these communities.
So there was a change of strategy?
Yes, so the troops began to interact with the local people. They observed their culture, their tradition, and at some point the people became confident and started providing them information on the key insurgents within their localities. This exactly is what the military needs to do. They need to win the confidence of the people, win their hearts and their mind, and then build confidence in them that, look, if they provide information for you, that information will not end up in the hands of the terrorists who will then come and kill them.
Might something like this be what people mean when they say that maybe you need to change the service chief so that we can have a change of strategy? You'll address the question, but please, Mr. George on the line in Ikeja, let me not lose him. I'll come back to that question that I raised. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And greetings to Mr. Adiba.
Good morning. Yeah.
Uncle Yori, I'm not in agreement with those who are saying you should have visited the spot where the incident happened. That wouldn't make any difference. The essential thing is that the president shares the grief of the people, and he has shown intention to do something about it. But what caught my attention is the statement made by the governor. I think that is where action should be taken. The governor said, he is the one on the ground. The governor said that there is no sufficient synergy amongst the armed forces who are fighting the war, and that they need to change strategy. I also remember when the governor visited that spot when that incident happened, he was not happy with the way the military handled that situation. That people, when the border or when our road closed, the people that come after the time it is closed, they are unprotected. It's either you allow them to pass and lock the gate, or you just keeping them there without any protection. The Boko Haram people studied the situation, and they saw that people are usually cramped in that place at night before they plan their attack. That's what the government was talking about. It was talking about change of strategy and then synergy among the armed forces. The president should also please look into, our own people. There are people who are fueling this war. Somebody needs to explain to me the difference between Boko Haram and bandits. I don't see any difference. Some people, all the guns we have been seeing coming into this country, where are the guns? Is it not the guns that these people are using? Who brought in the guns, we will not know. There should be more thorough investigation on how these bandits get their arms and who is behind them, in addition to the strategy or change of strategy that the governor is talking about. These are the issues, not about whether the president visited the spot or not. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling in. Okay, going back to this question of whether or not a change of strategy is required, and Has intelligence failed us, military intelligence?
Well, I wouldn't say so, because not being at the epicenter of the insurgency or the war, it is difficult to stay in the studio here and say intelligence has failed us and all that. But then we judge the result of the intelligence. If, like George said, there's this particular place where you stop people from going into the city in observance of a curfew, you know that it provides a strategic venue for Boko Haram insurgents to strike. But the point must be made that who are those who enforce, who are the people who are enforcing the curfew? Also military people. So how come that Boko Haram struck and the military did not put up any resistance? And then you talk about, when you talk about insecurity, the first thing you are told, and we don't make a distinction between what is insurgency, what is banditry, what is pure criminality, like, you know, an individual staging the post on the highway, waylaying others and kidnapping them. That's not insurgency. That's pure criminality and all that. Banditry is mean. We come to understand that those...
Okay, yeah, one moment, please. Mr. Gabriel in Abuja, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, please.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning. Are you hearing me?
Go ahead, please. We are.
Yeah, thank you for this contribution. I think one of the things I want to advise you guys on that in the studio. Are you hearing me, sir?
We can hear you, Gabriel.
Yeah, you see, I think the president visit to Maiduguri yesterday, to me, does not make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. The reason is that, you see, the people have suffered enough.
Gabriel, don't bother listening to yourself if that is what you're doing. Just speak. Don't bother if there's a playback. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you know, I think the president visit to the people that have already lost their loved ones doesn't make any difference. Nigerians have been crying from the north, from the east, from the south, from the west, that this strategy needs to be changed. And the president himself is not interested in changing the strategy. To change the strategy of the war means you change the commanders. The army chief, they are tired. They are doing nothing to relieve these people of all that is going on. Number one, last few days we handled 1,400, what you call rebranded, repented Boko Haram guys, and you return them back to the community. Are you sure that these terrorists are all going back to the community as people that have been brainwashed and are living normal life? These are the people that are turning and telling are taking information back probably to their own commanders in Sambisa Forest. And I think it is good for the government to listen to the people. We voted the government. They would have not been there if we have not voted them. And we are saying that the people that are there are not helping us. The president should listen to Nigerians and change the services. The president, look, let me tell you, I wrote a 13-page letter to the military. Are you getting me? 13-page letter to the military. I sent a copy to the Chief of Army Staff, a copy to the Chief of Air Staff, a copy to the Chief of Defense Staff, a copy to the Minister of Defense, a copy to the Director General of DSS, a copy to the Inspector General of Police, and I gave about 30 points. Security things that could have helped them, but nobody called me to ask a question. Which means that we don't want Nigerians to contribute to their own security. If you are listening to us as the military are also listening to the civilians, I told them, I said, look, even in your places of training, it is civilians that train them. If you go to NDA, it is civilians that train them. And I wrote this letter, if I can send you a copy, 13 pages, and I gave them some of the do's and don'ts that could help. Nobody got to appreciate that I'm contributing to the security of Nigeria. If that is what they are doing, there is no way they can even listen to anybody in Borno there. And I think the press should let them know the truth. Tell the politicians that they are destroying the people that voted them. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel, for calling in. And we know you spoke passionately out of the pain of your heart. Without prejudice to what you said, I don't know. This is how we feel. And this is the anguish of one citizen, and it is representative
Yuri,
of a number of people. But I wonder if people realize that Mr. Gabriel himself has said they're not listening to the people, and the people are wanting big policy changes. I wanted to suggest, with due respect to Mr. Gabriel's point of view, that shouldn't it be military experts that we should allow to have the front of this particular conversation?
Yuri, you know, there is a famous story of the black chicken, that the owner wanted the chicken caught because he was expecting some August visitors. And for 3 days, some group of young boys, we go out there in the night and try to catch the chicken. And they never succeeded, because once it runs into the dark, they cannot see it. And though they were making a lot of effort, the fact that they didn't catch the chicken meant that they had done nothing. And so the owner said to the visitors when they came, "I'd wanted to entertain you with my chicken, but I have some bunch of lazy boys who couldn't catch the chicken." So until there is result, people can say the military is not doing anything. But I can tell you, if the military is not doing anything, we won't have a country anymore.
Indeed. One moment, please. Someone's on the line.
Yes,
Mazi Okoroafo. Good morning, sir.
Yes, from Aruchuku in Abia State.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
When will Mazi come to Lagos? Where is always from Aruchuku?
No, Lagos has been my first one of what I graduated from my university after my first degree.
Okay.
Yeah, so Yuri and I get to see, this time around, when we are talking about the issue of security, we should talk about the strategy. Now, you see what happened. When President Trump saw what was going on, what did he do? He took his own decisive action. And now, even when you listen to Abbas message 2 days ago, up to 1 hour he was making his speech, he was talking about Trump, how to track Trump, which is not possible. Now, the same thing that is happening here is what Nigeria should be looking at. See how the advanced countries are approaching the issue of this insecurity. Now, everything is solely technological oriented. It's no longer in those days. Now, you ask yourself, some few days, the past few weeks or what happened in Kaduna? These boys, they're going down the helicopter, police helicopter. And even if you see the video clip of the people you played, you see that where the bullet punched the aircraft, which means, and even the bullet was at the tank, the fuel tank of that helicopter, what could have happened? It could have busted. Thank God it didn't happen like that. Now, that is to say, we need all these drones we are talking about. I don't know. We're talking about drone. There is no military hardware or attack you get this around that is not the use of drone. So what are we doing?
Okay.
We were told that they are going to train some people to make use of to study how to use drone. And we have not seen the test of, because this is no longer a helicopter or a chopper fighting. This is the job of a drone work, strategy, military, everything technically oriented. So that is the only solution.
Thank you.
It's no longer Kakpo company. It just the Afghan and Nigerian water. Thank God that's it. No more Kakpo. So if we are not ready to make use of facilities of the drone and to use people that we are just speaking about the business. Thank God the president saw what happened at least I have gone to pay corrective visit. At least I'm just with the source of this, and our seminarian that was killed in the Kaduna here.
Okay.
They saw that other people saw that get in perfect peace with God. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you very much, Mazi. So he thinks more technology should and can be brought to bear. But I've got to go off on a quick break now. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Continue to take your calls. Welcome back, and as we are hearing in the news, Boko Haram hits Kaduna. Boko Haram hits Maiduguri as the president visits, Borno State. and ran into a storm of people protesting, Boko Haram, you know, having what they see as a free reign. And we've talked about people wanting a change in strategy. The gentleman that called in earlier spoke passionately as a civilian and says we're not being listened to. I guess what everybody wants is that they want to know that security is the topmost priority, and everything else, even if it is a close second, should go ahead and take a close second to that, because it is only after we have living souls that we can now have an economy and have all the other crucial things that we need. But they don't feel that this is now whether or not this is the way to go. Yeah, the people who are running affairs, they know better. But the people who are losing limbs, losing lives, losing relatives, they are getting exasperated. And that resulted in the protest that we saw in Borno yesterday of we don't want this situation anymore.
Yeah, like I said, we cannot just sit here and micromanage security or second guess the capacity of the president to manage security, because we don't have all the details. So let's speculate on the few things that we know. What is the military budget for a country that is at war compared to other priorities? You're looking at the National Assembly budget, 128 billion or thereabout, the budget. But everything that we have in this country, the National Assembly, governance, welfare of the people, they all hinge on security of the same people. So why don't we prioritize security?
That is the question.
Mazi talked about drones. He doesn't understand how expensive those drones that carry those weapons, like the type that was used in killing Qasem Soleimani, cost hundreds of millions of dollars, just one. And so, and we don't produce it in Nigeria. We have to buy from those who produce that. What I think is the problem here, and this is within the grasp of our government, what has been the policy of war in the areas where we have insurgents? Have we rotated the troops like it's done in fighting wars? If you find out that a group of troops have low morale because they have been there for long, they're separated from their family, they're missing their loved ones, they're tired. Have we done that? What is happening at the war front? Are the commanders injecting new ideas, or are they tired? Now, everything you hear is, everybody who is talking, he says, the service chiefs have been there for too long, the president should change them. This is the president is the one who gets daily briefing from the service chiefs. And like I say to people, service chiefs are policymakers. They are not fighting the war themselves. They have commanders who report back to them, and they plan strategies with their commanders and see how they take the war to them. However, we have these large and huge conspiracy theories going all over. So there are people who believe that because the president has not changed the service chiefs, the guys who are on the line to become service chiefs, or people who feel that they ought to have been promoted to the next level to take over from these guys, are not happy, and they're taking off their foot off the pedal of the war. And to say, look, if we do this, we might succeed in forcing the president into making that change. There's also the theory that because one governor confronted some military top ranks about the behavior of the troops, in extorting money from people, they first slighted, and they decided that, okay, we will show you, we will leave these guys to face their problems. But I think when we're looking at our country, these things should pay into insignificance. What is more important for this president is that he's got to pull out everything that he has to rebuild confidence in the people again, that, look, I'm indeed not your president alone, I'm also your commander-in-chief.
Exactly. And pull out all stops. But
everything
possible. He has been saying that consistently.
And if in the process,
they are not resting.
If in the process of doing that, he feels he should change the men leading the effort, he's got to change them. If he feels it's comfortable, like I said, it's his prerogative. I've heard people quote military laws, they say, but what people don't understand is that we are in a war situation. When you are fighting war and you are getting results, there are certain things you push aside. Now, to most Nigerians, at the moment, Mr. President is not getting result for what he's doing, and so they are calling for a change. Again, it depends on him. He's a Democrat. He was elected by the Nigerian people. Now, Gabriel said he wrote 13-page letters to the military authority. They never took him seriously. Gabriel doesn't know how many Nigerians are writing such letters.
Are also writing such letters.
And the relevance of what they are saying in their letters, because these commanders who are fighting the war, they have access to troves of intelligence and information that we don't have.
Maybe it's a ridiculous comparison, but I imagine it's like Nigerians perhaps, and I don't mean this to disparage anybody's contribution, Nigerians writing into the technical advisors of our football teams, you know how people are expert from home. Now this is a highly technical, highly professional area of our lives. Fortunately for us, as a matter of fact, Mr. President is a retired general. So he knows the terrain, he knows the turf. And so it must be quite, I don't know.
If you have
it must be traumatizing for him.
If you have sugar on your table,
yeah,
you will invite ants.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter. It is because of what's happening that we have all become experts in security matter.
Yes.
You know, just like when you're watching Nigeria play against Cote d'Ivoire, and then the striker misses a scoring chance. Say, look, he's a useless. I don't know why he was included in this team.
I don't know why they included him.
This person should have been the one. Or somebody takes penalty.
That is the analogy I was making.
The man who takes penalty and scores for you all the time missed one penalty. I knew it. The coach doesn't know what he's doing. So we are all experts in everything. But the reality is that we have those that have specific and useful knowledge about what we should be doing.
And the only way they will know that we know what we are doing
is to see results.
Thank you, sir.
For them, they have to see the results.
They have to see results.
They have to see a de-escalation in the insecurity
granted
situation.
Granted all the military expertise and all the special advisors and all of that, people don't know all of that and cannot compete in that arena. But they can know whether they are able to sleep better. They can know whether there are results.
Mr. Yori,
and people are saying there are no results.
To you, your children are not interested in what the details of what you do every day in the studio here before you can pay their school fees.
Yeah.
They see you as a dad who is meeting their needs so long as you pay.
That's right.
And that's what Nigerians want to see. They don't want the details.
They don't.
And the reason why they are jumping into conclusion or trying to reframe the issue for the military is because they feel that the military has lost completely on ideas.
And President Buhari was voted in particular, because of this problem. People felt
one of the major issues.
Put General Buhari retired on the job, and this will be a different
I've also
country.
heard people say we voted for General Muhammadu Buhari, but what we have is a President Muhammadu Buhari, and we're angry with that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Maduka in the UK, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you. Once more, we are discussing Nigerian security issues. One thing that I don't really still understand is we keep on complaining we don't have enough men. The government has not done anything to address that issue. The first thing they need to do, which is the material they have in their hands now, before even you start thinking of recruiting more staff, is all these police and security operatives in the hands of politicians. A serious government will first of all mop them up. At least leave one police for the security of these people and move these personnel into the battlefield. Because that is the first security issue before we begin to talk of individual political things around Nigeria.
You're talking about the police because they are the first line of defense, really.
Exactly. We have more than half of Nigerian policemen in the hands of politicians. Yeah. So the second thing is Nigeria seems to be the only country where military and security budgets are openly discussed in their National Assembly. This is one of the reasons the security setup in Nigeria is seriously underfunded. Seriously. Forget about the corruption there. First of all, make sure that you have enough funding for these people before you can now begin to really interrogate how they use the money. If you leave them in the face of lack, of funds, it becomes very difficult for you to even begin to interrogate how they use the little one you are giving them, because it is just grossly insufficient. These boys are Nigerians. They love their lives. When you give them catapult to go and face a man that has a machine gun inside the bush who does not care about anybody, I mean, you don't expect them to go and face death because they want to go back to their individual families alive. This is war. Nigeria is fighting. It's a non-conventional war. We can't even start talking about drones. Nigeria has no money to buy drones. But use the one you have. We have the men, we have the guns, if we provide them for these boys. And they are ready to march into that Sambisa forest. For goodness sake, people keep on talking about how big that Sambisa forest is. Supposing we have to fight Cameroon as a country, are we saying that we are not capable of doing that? Who said that Cameroon cannot even adopt the guerrilla style? If we say it's not conventional, any country can adopt any method to win a war. Nigeria needs to be serious about this battle because it is damaging Nigeria everywhere in this world.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Maduka. You know, thinking about it, I go back to the whole matter of the crucial role of the police and how badly undersupplied, underfunded the police is. Experts will say that, look, the military that you're bringing into all of these matters, it's because there's a big problem on our hands that the military, people are calling for the military to be so involved. Special units of the police in the first instance, we're talking about banditry. Which one concerns soldiers and banditry?
Do you know why you have so many policemen around politicians? Again, it is because of the general insecurity in the country. They want to be more secured than the people that they are called to govern. That's the truth of the matter. And he said, remove them.
And policy allows it.
Yes, and he said, remove them.
Yes.
The fact is that I can tell you today, people lobby. Police people lobby to be posted to politicians. So remove them today. Let there be a policy by the government today and say, look, you're only going to have 2 policemen in the convoy of a governor, the convoy of deputy governor and all that. I can assure you it takes only maybe 1 or 2 weeks. The same people will go back there. Because they know it.
Yeah, but this is part of our problem, that now the system is such that it refuses to be adjusted. Then that is why people are saying, how serious are we really to do the needful?
Mr. Yuri, there is no state in this country, as I speak to you, that the governor does not draw security vote every month. Do you understand? So we are spending, if you look at the size of our economy, we are spending a lot of money on security, really.
And we're not getting any results.
But the issue is the money actually being used for security? Okay? And so...
Well, Mr. Maduka was saying there that, well, first of all, he believes generally we're underfunding them.
And I agree with him.
We're underfunding them. So can we properly fund them first, and then after that, if there are any lapses, we can now interrogate?
No, I would rather ask, can we get value for what we are spending so far?
Which is also a point you made.
And then we can bring out more resources.
Yes.
The fact is that we're not getting that value. So what you then, that's why, because like he was saying, when you see a typical government functionary abroad, you're saying the state governor, you don't see too many security around him. Why? Because the society itself, the country or the place where he is generally secured. So he doesn't need additional layers and layers of security. You know, you have this, they have what they call the chief detail, which is on the state security service. You have the chief security officer around the governor. You have got other police people. You have this large convoy, policemen in the front, policemen at the back, outriders.
So this lapse in,
this is because
in police numbers is now, people are now calling for the army to mop it up by replacing what should really be policemen properly. Specialist forces, whatever, highly trained people.
It's not the job of a soldier to mount roadblocks. To mount roadblocks. If you're traveling from here to Benin now, chances are that you are going to see roadblocks on the road with military personnel instead of basically made up of police who can enforce security. And so the places where we then need them, like in the insurgency area,
there will be those gaps.
There's those gaps because they are thin.
Let me bring in Kola in Atlanta. Good morning, Mr. Kola.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
I want to appreciate you for the good job you are doing in the studio.
Very kind, sir.
I want to go with the man with you in the studio that says, before we be talking about increasing funding, let us have value for what you have spent so far. Even if you increase the funding now, Nigeria is so corrupt. Even the pregnant baby in the womb of her mother is corrupt. So they will see embezzle, they will see misappropriate the money. But I think the problem that what is wrong with Nigeria is this: no Hausa man can govern Nigeria because Nigeria is more divided in any ramification than before. No Yoruba man can govern Nigeria successfully. No Igbo man can govern Nigeria successfully. Is it difficult for us, for the National Assembly
wait
to
now?
call
So
us for referendum?
so who is going to? Is it a foreigner who?
No, a Nigerian. A man who sees
That
himself
I am
as a
coming.
Nigerian.
I am coming, sir.
Okay.
I am coming, sir.
Okay.
Is it difficult for National Assembly to bring that to call for a referendum for us to dictate which way Nigeria? Because I believe it's either we go regional way or we go our separate way, or else this problem will persist. This is about 20 years of this democracy, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We are not happy abroad. We want to come over.
So what you're saying is that only a Nigerian can govern Nigeria. I'm guessing. Is that what you're saying?
That is
only
not what
a
I'm saying.
You're not saying that it is a nationalist.
We are more. Yeah, I'm saying, for how long are we going to be taking in that direction?
Okay. Okay. I thought you meant.
Yaradua has ruled. Person from South has ruled. Somebody from Southwest has ruled. And the problem remains the same. Why can't we go our separate way or for a start regional way? Okay. Because during Awolowo Nnamdi Azikiwe, then when they were running regional way, this problem is we don't have this kind of problem.
Okay, I see where you're going now. Now I understand it.
Yeah, so it is. I believe Southwestern will be better managed by Southwestern people. Then Easterner will be better managed by Easterner. While Northern region will be better managed by Northerners.
Are you therefore saying? Are you saying? So we should just split it up. We should just split up the place and let people.
That will solve the problem.
Oh, okay.
That will solve the problem because we are just debating. We are just discussing. Now the National Assembly has consulted some about 50-something man team to look into the 2014 confab. You will see at the end of the day, nothing good will come out of it.
Oh, okay.
Why are we wasting our time?
I want to thank you for calling in, Mr. Kola. I want to thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Kola.
You know, funnily enough, where he lives in the United States, they are not governed according to region. Mm-hmm. They are governed according to states, county, and then the townships. That's what happens in America.
I thought he was going to say that it is only a true nationalist.
Yes, somebody who sees himself as a Nigerian.
Who sees himself primarily as a Nigerian. But he says, that's not what I'm saying.
No, you see, a lot of people tend to believe that going in our separate ways or going back to the old regional arrangement that we had is a silver bullet. The fact is that the same Nigerians that have come together to form a country are the same people who will go back to the regions with the same mindset about what government money is meant for, with the same mindset about, you see, people think that the problem is only at the center. I come from a state where the division within the state is fiercer than what we have in the country. All the states in the federation have different kind of problems. Even when you go to the local government level, there's a group of people that are oppressing the others because they have larger numbers. So this is not going to be solved by just dividing the country
Okay. Well, let me bring in Benga. Benga in Abuja, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling. Good morning.
My name is Benga.
Okay.
If you listen to the president yesterday, he said that he was still amazed that the Boko Haram insurgency is still at this level. And that what are the community leaders, what are the imams doing about it? From my own understanding, he said that you look at it, you people do not want this thing to end. And it's very germane. Let's examine that statement. That look, this insurgency, the way it is like there are connivance, there are fifth colonies who do not want to end within the natives. Because if you look at that attack that happened on Monday, they only burned the vehicles on the road. No housing, there was no any house or any individual reported kidnapped among the natives. Those who are kidnapped are the pro-travelers. There's a problem there. And the report said that the Boko Haram had been there 3-4 hours in their midst before the attack was launched. What happened? It shows that, to me, the people in the north, some people are benefiting from this and they don't want this thing to end. Because, if not, intelligence would have prevented such occurrence. Number two, the army needs to be investigated. Those people have been parking there for long when they shut the gate. For long. They should know that they are vulnerable. They should know that they can be attacked. And why can't the army position people there when they lock the gate at that time to protect those travelers? Those two issues need to be investigated. Number one, the people in Northeast, to me, they are not ready to stop the Boko Haram. Number two, the army should be investigated on that time. Why have the police or position some people there armed to govern, to protect? They are Nigerians. They are not foreigners. They are lives.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Benga, for calling in.
I think Benga has got a point. The fact is that the presence of war or insurgency does not translate to the absence of commerce. There is a dark economy that every war or insurgency brings. And there are those who will profit from it and want that war to continue. Again, I said here that the majority of the Boko Haram fighters are not foreigners. They are indigenes of the state.
The president brought the matter up.
People coming from. And so they are known.
He brought the matter up.
They are known. Some of them are even shielded.
Yes.
They have their wives and their children.
Boko Haram can't come without knowledge of locals.
Yes, they have their wives.
Buhari, that's a vanguard.
But again, there's an issue which I raised, and I think a lot of people are saying, where is the confidence of the local community to walk to the security forces and say, look, we suspect that these guys are militants or insurgents.
So we have our work cut out
for us. And then tomorrow they end up dead.
We have our work cut out for us.
Yes, so.
And well, as the president said, they're leaving no stone unturned. They're working right around the clock. Indeed, whereas we are appreciating that, people want to see results of all that labor.
The president,
and that is the problem.
The president must understand.
We got to go now.
The president must understand, and I know he knows this, that so long as this kind of sporadic attacks with deadly consequences continue, the people will not understand that he's making effort.
Indeed.
And so he's got to intensify his efforts. The people want to see results. And I think the president has got all it takes to bring about the result. He should defy the local community leaders who are involved in shielding and protecting these guys by deploying maximum force from the country against the insurgents. Okay. And I think that will tame everything they are doing.
That's a good place to leave it. Thank you very much, Mr. Curtis.
Thanks for having me.
For sharing your perspective with us. And that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.